So we are back. So I had a very, what's your name again?
Steve.
Steve. So Steve here had a very good question. If Bouvet is the number 2, who's the number 1 most wanted?
North Korea.
North Korea.
Wow. Okay.
That's
That
right.
makes sense.
The Democratic People's Republic of Korea. It's a very interesting story. I could go on for days with this, but it should be. But you know, Marty Lane again had to go and activate. So a friend of mine who's a doctor, he went there to donate some medical equipment, and he asked them for a license, and they said, yeah, bring the equipment and we'll see about your license. He brought the medical equipment, he brought ham equipment, and they told him, thank you, goodbye. Yeah, it's Dave Bornstein, K2HTV, you know, very nice guy, good friend, and he tried, but, you know, and then you had another group of DXers that tried and they failed, so. Bouvet has a different problem. Bouvet is just plain expensive to go to. They need helicopters to go there. This one is going to cost close to $1 million.
Wow.
So, it's really expensive. But, you know, people are helping them and donate, and, if, you know, a lot of DXers, they have Northern California DX Foundation, you have DX clubs, and you have individual DXers, so. All right, so very good. North Korea is number 1. Hopefully this one will become like number 10 when they're done with it. So, all right, so we have digital modes. Who here operates digital modes? All right, what kind of digital modes do you operate? All of them?
FTA most.
FTA, good. But what's that digital mode up there?
RTT.
RTT, yes, very good. Use that to tune. Huh?
It's not too big, right?
No, it's a little off, right? Yeah. So the thing is with digital modes, I meant to say digital modes, but WSJTX is one of the digital mode software. They work perfectly with software-defined radios because it's an all-digital path, and you don't have any of that analog noise we're talking about. You don't have, 60 hertz hum. You don't have distortion. You don't have anything like that, because, like I said, math is perfect, right? So anybody here operates RTT, RTTY, okay? And the 2 types of modulation for RTTY are?
Mark and space?
No, FSK and AFSK, good. Now this is a little controversial because people say, well, you're not going to get a clean signal unless you use FSK, right? So I meant to put AFSK, oops. But you use AFSK, and it's as clean as FSK because the DAX is a perfect digital path, okay? And the other digital modes are clean. And because of that, I would get signals as low as -24, -22 regularly on my waterfall. And it cuts down on the cable clutter immensely. And I can decode up to 12 kilohertz, which is ridiculous. So I just keep it down to 2 or 3. But if I wanted to decode like 5 kilohertz, I do it. Okay, all right. This is my WSJTX screen. Here, about 80 meters, I'm decoding there. Okay. You have DAX, which is the digital audio exchange. Now this is just a DAX control panel, which you set up basically as sound card devices on your Flex radio. You can adjust your levels, right? You can adjust, you can turn them on or off. And these here are IQ streams that you feed into CW Skimmer or similar software. You could even feed them into Power SDR and open up, new VFOs if you wanted to, just if you feel, crazy. Oh, do not touch any of these wires.
Looks familiar.
Yeah, I'm sure some of you people who work in tech have seen stuff like this, right? I've been in more than one data center like this.
Is that the before or after?
That's before. Whoops. Here we go. Well, we all feel pain.
Yeah.
This looks like Brazil,
I think so.
Where are your tech support calls going? Peg, you answer the phone. All right. So this is a typical HF station masked with a computer radio. You can't see it very well. This is my friend Mike, VA3MW, who also works at Flex Radio. I don't work at Flex Radio, but he does. This is a neat station with still a lot of cables. You see in the back there, you see all these interface cables there. Here to see a W4AX. Oh my God, what is this? You know, this is such a mess. This is another contest station, K3WA. Oh my gosh, what's going on there? This is my radio. Notice a lot fewer of them. You know why? Because most of my stuff goes through that one. The Ethernet. All my audio cables and the CAT, which is a frequency control for your radio, go through there. And I have a power pole on the Flex Radio. A lot of stuff is coming with power pole now. I have a PTT. I have 2 amplifier control lines. I have a VHF amplifier and 2 HF lines. And, this is Craig Thompson, K9CT. Anybody ever worked him? Anybody ever worked him in a contest? Of course, Van has. Yeah, Craig is a big time Flex guy. These are 2K3S there. And he neatened it up afterwards. You know, it's still a lot of wires, but a lot less, right? Okay, yes, winning, contesting. Well, not everybody goes into contesting to win. Some go into their personal goals. Some go into have fun, make contacts, work their DX. All right, so we have a few of us, myself included. You have K9CT is a big time Flex user. You have me. You have K3TUF, if anybody of you have done VHF contesting. N6WM, who operates N6RO. You have a few others. You have 403 Alpha. I forgot to mention him. What country is he from? Montenegro. All right. And then SO2R, single operator 2 radios. So you have one person with audio in the left and the right ear. People do it, you know. You guys had John Crivelli over here. I mean, contesters. We just, you know. Some of them are not human, I'm convinced. You know? But, yeah, you can do SO2R. So you have 2 independent receivers in a single radio. And you can put one in one ear and one in the other ear. And you make contacts on one. You calling on one, CQ. And the other one, you tuning the band for multipliers. Okay?
Having multiple kids helps develop that skill, I think.
Yes.
Be able to listen to each of them and all of them.
Well, you know, some of it just comes to you naturally. It's an old joke. OT-RSP 1.2 radio switching protocol, which is like a protocol developed by, I think it's a couple of contest clubs, might have been YCCC, where they basically allows logging software, contest logging software, to manipulate the switching of audio and control between radios. And there's full N1MM Plus support. Flex Radio works closely with N1MM Plus. The SDR vendors really, you know, they want to get, even ICOM as well works closely with N1MM Plus. Yes?
What is Lima Papa Lima use?
I think he's using right log. Oh, you mean I think he's using K3S.
And
Elecron. Huh?
Lima Long?
Oh, he's the ICOM guy. Big time. He owns DXing. Well, he doesn't own. He's Chief Operating Officer of DX Engineering now. So, yeah. But he runs ICOM 7851s. Trying to win him over, but, you know, it's a little tough. But actually, it's a good point because he jointly sponsored an event with Flex in Texas, the 6-meter barbecue. So, you know, they got together and cooperate. Yeah, so the N1MM Plus has a spectrum feature now where you can see the spectrum display. It's a little slower than on a full SDR, but I helped him test it out. Tom, the developer, I helped him test it out and, you know, get it working properly. And a bunch of us from the Flex Alpha team did as well. The Power Genius amplifier is the new amplifier from Flex Radio. That's, remember I told you about cable clutter? This one will just use one wire and the RF, the Ethernet connection. So even for transmit and receive switching, instead of having to put a separate cable. Okay. Anyway, I could show that after. So this is Craig's station. Notice he has a flex and the maestros. This is my station, you've seen that before. Van knows that mug in the corner. Although you probably think you should drink coffee in there. Oh, anybody knows what this is? No, this thing. The little two medallions thing in the glass. That's ARRL Centennial. They gave out little medallions to people who participated in Centennial stations. So I was one of the W1AW/2. Now my CW, and I have my headset in somewhere in the corner there. All right, some wins. Craig won. I won a Work to All Europe contest, and others were growing. We're trying to get more Flex users into the thing. So, believe it or not, you go to contest. What do you win? You win a plaque to put on the wall, and people decide that they must cheat. That ruins it for everyone. So contest sponsors said, you know what? We're going to record the entire contest now, and we're going to look for patterns of cheating. We're going to match it up to your log, and if you cheat, we're going to find you. So they do that, and then they caught some people doing some bad stuff, like using the cluster without telling people, having a second operator, putting bogus entries into the log. If you want to learn more about what they're doing in terms of contests, keeping it honest and ethical operating practices, there's a webinar on the Worldwide Radio Operators Foundation website, WWROF. So they're good stuff. W5ZN, Joe Harrison, he was there. So CW Skimmer, we use CW Skimmer as well, but that of course puts you in the assisted category, meaning that you're using assistant cluster. You can feed that output into N1MM and it shows up in your band map, right? And many big guns, K3LR has a whole rack of Perseus SDRs. I think he's still using Perseus. All right, coming up close to the end here. Remote operation, the world is a shack. That doesn't mean your radio goes all over the world, but it means operate. So with the LAN remote, right, you could operate anywhere in your local LAN, in your house. Before they had SmartLink, we used to use VPN, we used Soft Ether. And you use it on a Raspberry Pi or Windows computer. Now they make it easier, they use the SmartLink, you just log in and go along, no problem. You can use a Windows PC, Maestro, iPad or iPhone. You can also use a Mac. I use a Mac with a software called DogPark SDR. Like I mentioned, SmartLink is a turnkey solution, and has security features, encryption to make sure that hackers don't steal your radio virtually, right? And it's the identical experience to home. You can operate anywhere in the world, as long as you have broadband internet. I've operated as far as Buenos Aires. I was in Buenos Aires in February and March. I was getting old, when I go on the radio. So this is me at work, hard at work, DXing. Right? This is me on an iPad, DXing too. I have a live demo of that if you want. And this is me in Buenos Aires. You see me here with my iPad, and you see me here with my computer, and you see N1MM running there. I'm running the ARRL DX contest. It was a Friday night, I had nowhere to go. And this is a Raspberry Pi. I actually added an external antenna for Wi-Fi to increase the Wi-Fi range. Upcoming features, so what's coming next? Everybody wants to know what's coming next, right? Adaptive pre-distortion. Does anybody know what that is? Not Dave, the other guy know Dave knows. Cindy? Brad?
I'm going to make an assumption here is that you have an inherent distortion that you're able to detect, bring back around, and cancel out yourself.
That's pretty much it, yes. So basically things like IMD and splatter and stuff like that. The amplifier has a sample port, minus 60 dB, and then you feed that back into the software-defined radio. And then the radio now will take this and say, okay, I can adjust the signal so that it's distorted the other way enough, just so that this signal will come out right. And you can get IMD down to close like minus 50 or 60. Anan has it, they call it pure signal. Flex is developing it too, okay? So, multi-client, right now you can only operate one client at a time. One computer, one Maestro, one iPhone or iPad. In the future, you'll be able to operate more than one. Okay, got a question? Okay. Then various visual enhancements, you know, some stuff I can't really talk about, but they're going to add some visual eye candy. 403A signature. Ronco, the 403A, he is a partner with Flex, and he actually is working with Flex on full integration with his products, the antenna switches and all that stuff. And of course, the Power Genius amplifier is his creation as well. All right, but wait, there's one more thing. Okay, so you think you probably have to spend thousands of dollars to get into software-defined radio. That's not really true. You can get one of these. I think these cost like $40, $50 now. These were originally European TV tuners. So, you know, you plug that in a USB port. They're tuned for VHF and UHF, some of them. But I think this one has the down converter built in. I'm not sure. Actually, it probably doesn't. You need to get the down converter or up converter, not down converter. And you'll be able to run an HF receiver on one of those. You have something else. These things are, well, I don't have an assembled one with me, but these are kits that used to sell for, how much do you guess one of these kits cost? What can you get for $5? You can get, these used to sell for $10. $10, you get a soft rock. And you feed that into your sound card, and you run software like Power SDR or another software called Rocky. And you can even run CW Skimmer too. And yeah, this little thing, you hook it up to an antenna. The board is, I could pass this kit around. You guys could take a look and see, right? It's just a kit, but you know. Yeah, and those were QSD radios. If you look on 5dash.com now, Tony Parks, who's the inventor of this, he still sells them, but he sells some more advanced ones. And he has like one that's frequency agile, does multiple bands. I think it's less than $100. Transceiver too. Good for SOTA, good for, you know, a lot of things. QRP, but it works. Right? So yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive. You have soft rock kits, you have your RTL SDR, you have Fun Tube. You can get one and get your feet wet. There is also SDR Play, which is $200, I think it is. If you want a real transceiver, the new 6400 is coming in at $2,000. So, you know, the prices are coming down. It's cheaper than an ICOM, you know, 7600 right now. You know, even cheaper. You could get a used Flex 6300. You can get some of the lower end Anan radios for not much, you know, relatively speaking. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunity now.
Ria, question, how
Yes.
much computer power versus, you know, where would you scale the requirements for the computer?
Okay, so the Anan, Dave, this is Dave's radio. Dave,
Yeah.
what kind of computer you need for this? You need a really good heavy computer.
You need probably an i5. Right now, it only supports 100 meg on the Ethernet.
Yeah.
They're going to be coming out with gigabit support, but with the Anan radio, with the Anans, you know, the 100, 100D, the 200D, the 8000 DLA, which that is, it does all the process, all the DSP processing is done in the PC. So, you know, you're looking at probably an i3 and i5. An i3 is going to be kind of a little bit borderline, but an i5 or higher processor on a computer. And if you're running, say, Windows 10, you're looking at minimum of 8 gig of RAM.
Yeah, I mean 8 gig is like the lowest amount you get these days anyway.
I actually have the Anan 8000, and I have two 6500s, and I've got the 6600M on order, so I get to play with both of them. And
Yeah, there's a lot of radios. I only have a 6700, I have a 6500, you know, and I have a couple ICOMs and stuff too. But thanks, Dave. Pardon? Yeah. I believe you could run these, you can run the software for these in Linux and stuff too, right?
Yeah, they have software available for Linux, they have software available for Mac, they have software available for Windows. They can run two different types of firmware, what's called Protocol 1, Protocol 2. Protocol 1 is, as Ria mentioned, it was Power SDR MRX, which is a derivation of the older Power SDR software that they've taken and continue to enhance it with a lot of other features. Protocol 2 is something new that they're working on, still not ready for prime time, still kind of buggy. Simon Brown, the guy who was one of the original authors of Ham Radio Deluxe, is working on a program called SDR Console version 3, which is very graphically, beautiful program. But you're going to need to run a higher-end computer plus an NVIDIA video card that uses CUDA processors on it in order to really take advantage of that software.
Yeah.
So you need some high-end hardware behind it.
So meanwhile, with the Flex, I can run it on my MacBook. I can run on my old MacBook, which is i3, I think, or i5 was on my old one from 2011, and it still runs. I can run an iPad.
Because it's a thin client.
Because it's thin client. I can run an iPhone.
You gotta run an Anan processor PC.
Right. Yeah, you can run on it on very low power hardware because all of the processing is done in here.
Right.
So, all right. Let's see. And we're going to do live demos. And any questions? Anybody else wants any questions? I have the 6500 here. If anybody's interested in trying out a Flex Radio, you could talk to me and I could work out some with you. If you're seriously interested in getting one, let me know and I could probably get you one to try. I could even get you to try mine at home, for like a day or so, if you want to take a look around and see. Any questions? All right. Well, thank you very much, guys.
So is this just the audio and the FPGA, or I'm assuming there are other pieces to this?
So there was another module called Mercury, which is direct sampling, right? Where it had ADC and was 0 to 65 megahertz. That came later in this. I don't know where my Mercury board is, but this actually, they say, is not a sound card. This would actually connect to like a soft rock or the front end. And this would do the digitization. You have the FPGA to control the power supply.
Before you do the demo,
Yeah. Okay.
picture for our newsletter.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you to Ria. You want to get a picture for the newsletter? Okay. Thanks for coming. We have this nice certificate for you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Vance.
Great.
Good job.
And a pilot already.
Computing. Thank you, Ria. Processing.
You got it.
Thank you, Vance.
Email that to me.
There was just one with the other three presentation as well.
Oh, okay. There's more. Wait a minute. Don't
There was
run
one
away.
more.
There's more,
It's
but
a
wait.
fancy little system on a chip.
Yeah.
Very
There's now. So I would be things. So basically, things are changing in the world of amateur radio especially for YLs, right? I see a few YLs in here, which is good. I actually like to see YLs in clubs.
Judith? Judith?
Yes.
Ria's talking to you. Hang on a second.
Wait, I'm coming around.
Yeah. I'm very happy to see a YL
And
as a club
Roslyn
person.
and Lori and and Carol.
Carol's here.
Right.
Okay, listen up.
Yeah. So basically, I'm really happy to see you as a club president.
Well, thank you.
And Kate Craigie was also president of ARRF. So we're making our presence growing. Not to displace anybody, but we want to be more involved in the hobby. And a lot of factors are in play for that. Like we have the internet and social media. We have a group for Young Ladies Radio League. have a group for something called While Off Net, which is a Echolink net at 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Just Whiles only, OMs can listen. And we talk about different topics. It's a lot of beginner focus too, but they're advanced topics too. We help each other. And of course, you know, if you're OM and you want to encourage your sister or your wife or your girlfriend or somebody, by all means, I would encourage you to. And then today we have a lot more Wiles getting licensed. Well, because my husband had a license. No, no. Okay. And more men are getting their Wiles involved too. Okay. All right. So amateur radio is cooperation for us. It helps us get together and cooperate, and you know, have that bond. And it fosters empowerment among us in terms of, you know, we could get out and do things and get us more involved into fields like STEM, especially for kids in college too. So I want to encourage everybody, encourage your wives, encourage your daughters, encourage everybody. My friend Katie, WY7YL, anybody knows her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a ARRL staffer, right? And she works at ham radio all the time. She got her mom license as WY7YL. And listen, if you've been on the fence, I don't know how many people have not had their licenses here. You know, get a license, all right? Some activities, we have the net I talk about. We have a net on 80 meters too, the Yankee Lassies net at 3912 plus or minus, Wednesdays at 8:30 a.m. We only have Wiles on these nets, but you know, OMs are welcome to listen. There's a While ISSB, which is Wiles and OMs. It's emergency communications focused on 20 meters. Originally started by the wife of a doctor. Okay, and we have at Hamvention we have the While Forum. We have a forum at District 5. We have prizes at some of these forums too. And we have the international conventions. We have 2006. We had 2016 in the UK, and we're having Oklahoma City in 2018. So if you know any ladies that want to join us, you know. So this is the main thing I wanted to bring about. So this is our convention, right? August 2 to 5 in Oklahoma City. And then we have some photos here. Me and Michelle, W5MQC, who's District 5 chair. You have Andrea K2EZ. We're doing a microwave contest. We have the Hamvention Wild Forum. You have Katie, myself, and Andrea. And that's basically it, the net info. Join us. I'm also running for YLRL District 2 chair. So if you know any ladies who are members of YLRL, please vote for me when you get the ballot. Thank you very much. That's it. Short and sweet. Thank you. All right, so we have live demos up front if anybody wants to come and take a look.